Coruscant burned with rumor. The temple bombing trial had nearly broken the Jedi's public mask, and Ahsoka Tano stood in the center of it, young, furious, and tired of being judged. But this time, the evidence did not vanish into politics. Anakin and Captain Rex tracked Letta Terman's final communications, pulled security feeds from a sealed Senate server, and caught the true saboteur's shadow, Barriss Offee, moving through lower levels with stolen clearance. In the council chamber, the confession hit like a blast door. Barriss spoke of peace and hypocrisy. Yet her hands shook when Ahsoka stepped forward. "You framed me," Ahsoka said, voice flat. "You wanted me gone." The council did not offer empty apologies. Plo Koon admitted their fear had guided them. Obi-Wan admitted their pride. Then Mace Windu made a choice that surprised the entire order. He brought Ahsoka back in front of the Senate, publicly cleared her name, and accepted the cost of humiliation. Ahsoka returned to the temple not as a symbol, but as a soldier who had learned the price of trust. Yoda's warning was quiet and sharp. Earned trust is, given it is not. Anakin tried to smile, but the anger in him had changed shape. He hugged her too tightly. "They almost took you from me," he whispered. Ahsoka looked at the Jedi banners above them and felt no comfort. The war was still eating the galaxy. The Council's eyes still measured loyalty, like a weapon. That night, Palpatine watched the news feed in silence. The plan had failed, but the fracture remained. He turned to the red-robed guards at his door. "Send word," he said. "Skywalker's Padawan stays close." Then, we tightened the net. Across the city, Ahsoka woke from a chill, certain someone had moved a piece on the board. Sidious was dead, and the Empire did not know how to breathe. The throne world cheered, but the border worlds loaded their rifles. Within days, the Imperial machine fractured. Moffs seized shipyards and declared temporary kingdoms. Admirals vanished with battle groups. Clone commanders, cut off from central codes, kept policing streets as if the war never ended. The Jedi should have been a symbol of hope. Instead, the Order became a courtroom. Anakin Skywalker stood before the Council, unarmed, hearing every accusation he had earned. He had struck Sidious down, yes, but he had also served him, lied for him, and almost became his blade. Obi-Wan argued for mercy. He returned, he said. "Don't make that choice worthless." Ahsoka watched Anakin's face, searching for the old rage behind his calm. Outside the temple, senators demanded a public trial. Refugees demanded a sentence. Holocams waited, hungry for the moment the hero became the monster again. Anakin saw the trap. If he stayed, warlords would rally to him or hunt him. The Jedi would split over forgiveness. The Republic would weaponize his guilt. And the dark side would keep calling his name. So he left first. Before dawn, he climbed the cracked steps of the temple and placed his lightsaber on the stone. Not as surrender as a boundary. He walked into the rain without a guard. Obi-Wan found the hilt and did not touch it. Ahsoka caught Anakin at an empty hangar, a small unmarked shuttle warming up. "Exile won't fix you," she said. "It might stop me from breaking anyone else," Anakin replied. He promised no redemption, only distance. He would fight from the shadows' quiet rescues, no banners. Ahsoka felt the Force tighten, like a door closing, and she feared what followed him through the dark, and jumped to hyperspace. Ahsoka stood alone as the hangar lights dimmed. Then her comlink pulsed with a coded burst, urgent, familiar, and impossible. Ahsoka couldn't anymore ignore what the war left behind. Sidious was gone, yet clone units kept doing things that felt wrong. On Ryloth, a patrol froze mid-street for 2 seconds, then opened fire on civilians they had just shielded. On Saleucami, troopers turned on Republic medics, then swore they couldn't remember pulling the trigger. The Council called it exhaustion. Ahsoka called it a switch. She pulled helmet footage, comm logs, and casualty charts, and laid them across a star map. The same signature appeared every time. A brief blackout on the squad channel, then a burst of perfect, emotionless obedience. Different commanders, different worlds, same timing. Captain Rex stood with her in the archives, helmet under his arm, jaw tight. "I know what an order feels like," he said. And I know what it feels like to choose. Those moments didn't feel like me. Ahsoka remembered Fives dying on Coruscant, begging the Jedi to listen. The Order had buried his warning to keep the war simple. Now the price was coming due. One trail kept repeating in the data medical shipments routed through Kamino. Ahsoka and Rex flew into Kamino's storm wall under Republic clearance. Tipoca City still rose above the ocean, but it felt stripped and nervous. Doors sealed as they walked. Kamino and staff smiled politely, then watched like guards. A director greeted them with calm eyes. "The clone program is complete," she said. "Then open your medical files," Ahsoka replied. Records were reclassified, pages were missing. But a phrase sat in the margins like a confession. Behavioral inhibitor chip. Rex demanded a scan. The director refused. Ahsoka ignited a saber just enough to light the lab blue. The scanner formed an image, an implant behind Rex's eye, hidden deep. Rex went still. "That's in all of us." The lab lights flickered, then turned red. Somewhere below, heavy boots hit the platform fast, trained, and closing in. Coruscant felt like it was waiting to explode. Pause. The Senate cheered security, while the Jedi Temple felt like a courtroom with lightsabers. Mace Windu made his move first. He gathered 3 masters and spoke without emotion. "The Chancellor is the Sith Lord," he said. "We arrest him now." Ahsoka understood the trap. If Mace failed, the Jedi would be branded traitors. If he succeeded, Palpatine would still scream, "Coup!" loud enough to shake the galaxy. And Anakin was standing right in the middle. Palpatine had spent years shaping him, praising him, isolating him. Now the Chancellor's messages hit harder than blaster fire. "The Council will sacrifice Ahsoka. They will blame you. Only I can protect her." Ahsoka ran to the temple hangar and found Anakin beside his fighter, staring at the cockpit like it could save him. "He's calling you," she said. Anakin's jaw clenched. "He says Mace is overthrowing the Republic. He says you're the excuse." Ahsoka stepped closer, voice low and urgent. "Then don't give him the moment. Mace is going to the office. You stay here with me." "Beat," Anakin shook his head, torn. "If Mace is wrong, they'll kill him. And if Palpatine is right..." "He isn't," Ahsoka snapped, then softened. "I saw Kamino. I saw the chip. This is how he controls people, Anakin. He's been controlling you too." Anakin's hands trembled. For the first time, his anger stalled. Ahsoka grabbed his wrist. "Please, stand down. Let the Masters finish this. If you go, he will force a choice you can't take back." Across the city, Mace entered the Chancellor's office. The doors sealed. Lightning flashed beyond the windows. In the hangar, Anakin hesitated just long enough. Then the Force screamed and Anakin ran. Ahsoka sprinted after him, already fearing what he would see. Last lines. The temple alarms didn't sound. The Senate didn't broadcast. But the Force itself shook, like something ancient had just slipped its leash. The moment Order 66 triggered, Coruscant felt colder. Pause. Not louder. Colder. A single command left the Chancellor's office and raced through the clone network like a disease. Execute Order 66. Across the galaxy, clones froze mid-step, heads tilted, eyes went flat, blasters rose. But this timeline had one difference. Ahsoka had already seen the chip. She felt the shockwave in the Force Jedi lives blinking out like lights, and she didn't waste time arguing with the Council. She grabbed a secure.com station, forced open priority lines, and sent a warning to every general she trusted. Do not turn your back. Your clones are compromised right now. Some got it in time. On Felucia, Aayla Secura dove into the undergrowth instead of walking ahead of her troops. On Megiddo, Ki-Adi Mundi broke formation and fled into tight streets that ruined the firing line. On Utapau, Obi-Wan's message hit Cody a heartbeat, early long enough for Cody to hesitate, and for Obi-Wan to leap. Other Jedi never heard her. At the temple, the attack began without a public alarm. Clone transports landed like routine supply drops, then opened their ramps in their fire. Ahsoka reached the main gate and saw Rex at the front rank, rifle raised, jaw locked in a battle he couldn't explain. She stepped into his aim, unarmed for one dangerous second. "Rex," she said, calm and fierce. "Choose." The chip pushed. Rex shook like he was drowning. Ahsoka ignited her blades and sliced his shoulder.com relay, flooding his headset with static. Nearby squads faltered, confused by broken commands, firing late, firing wrong, turning the clean strike into a chaotic mess. It wasn't victory, it was a delay. And in that delay, Ahsoka heard Palpatine's voice again, issuing a revised target list, with her name now at the top. Rex's eyes cleared for half a second, and his voice cracked. "Ahsoka, run!" Then every trooper's helmet turned toward her at once, and the temple gates began to close. The Senate chamber was silent. Not the peaceful kind of silent, the dangerous kind. The kind that only comes right before something breaks. Palpatine stood at the center of it all, calm, unhurried, almost kind. He extended one pale hand toward Anakin Skywalker and spoke in that smooth, careful voice he always used when he wanted something. "I can save her, Anakin. I know the path. But you must kneel and choose." Anakin's jaw tightened, his fists clenched at his sides. Every part of him wanted to say yes. Padme was dying. He could feel it not just in his heart, but deep in the Force itself. A slow, terrifying fade. And here, right in front of him, was the man claiming to hold the cure. He almost took a step forward. Almost. "Anakin, don't." Ahsoka's voice cut through the room like a blade. She stepped out from the archway, Leku tense, eyes sharp and burning. She had heard everything, seen everything, and she was not going to let her former master walk into this alone. "He's lying. There is no cure. There is only a chain, and he wants to put it around your neck." Anakin froze. The silence stretched for 3 long seconds. Then slowly he stepped back. Palpatine's expression did not change, not even slightly. He simply tilted his head and smiled. A pity. He raised one finger. Somewhere deep inside the palace, a pre-recorded order set weeks ago, hidden in the architecture of the Empire itself, triggered without warning. Across the city, lights went dark, and the screaming began. The galaxy did not celebrate. There were no parades, no speeches about freedom, no moment where the light side stood tall and the darkness finally broke. That is not what happened here. What followed instead was quieter, and in many ways far worse. The Empire rose anyway. Not because Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. In this timeline, he did not. Ahsoka had pulled him back from that edge. But Palpatine was never a man who needed one soldier to build his machine. He had thousands of loyal officers, a Senate already wrapped around his finger, and a galaxy too exhausted from war to push back. Order 66 still came. Just not the way anyone expected. It came in phases. Quietly, surgically, like a trap being slowly closed one door at a time. The clones received their signal, but the full purge was slower and messier than in any other version of this story. Some Jedi got warning. Not enough, never enough, but some. And in that narrow, desperate window between betrayal and death, something unexpected was born. A network. Ahsoka Tano built it herself. She did not sleep. She barely ate. She moved through back channels, coded transmissions, and forgotten hyperspace routes that no Imperial scanner had ever bothered to map. She called in every favor she had. She reached out to every Jedi she had ever trained beside, fought alongside, or argued with. It did not matter anymore. Alive was alive. The network had no official name. Some called it the Thread. Others simply called it Ahsoka's Road. It worked like this. A Jedi in danger would send one single pulse, one frequency, 1 second long. That pulse would bounce through 3 hidden relay points buried inside ordinary civilian cargo ships. Within hours, a contact would find them. A safe house, a new identity, a path out of Imperial space. It was dangerous. Painfully dangerous. 3 relay operators were caught in the first month alone. Ahsoka received word of each loss the same way silence where there used to be a signal. She kept building anyway. But here is the truth. This timeline never lets you forget. Surviving is not the same as winning. The Jedi who made it out were changed. They were not the proud guardians of the old Republic anymore. They were fugitives. They ate cold rations in abandoned mining stations, on planets no one had ever heard of. They hid their lightsabers under false floors and prayed that the neighbor down the hall was not an Imperial informant. Master Obi-Wan Kenobi made contact with the network on the 14th day. His message was short. "I am alive. Tell me where to go." Ahsoka stared at those words for a long, quiet moment. Then she sent back 2 coordinates and closed the channel. There was no time for relief, no time for reunion. Every second she stayed in one place was a second the Empire moved closer, because that was the other truth no one wanted to say out loud. Palpatine already knew the network existed. He had known almost from the beginning. He simply let it run, watching, mapping, tracking every node and every name. He was not trying to destroy Ahsoka's road. He was letting it lead him somewhere far bigger. And on the 31st day, it did. Deep inside a network relay point on the outer edge of the mid-rim, Imperial scouts found something they were never supposed to find. Not just a safe house, a gathering, 23 Jedi in one single location. The Emperor smiled for the first time in weeks.